My Asiatic fire lilies are huge this year. Come join me in the chaos so I can teach you how I do it.
Come join me in the chaos where the food forest thrives in the joy of growing. Our hearts come alive, embracing the mess where nature takes control. Come join me in the chaos, let the bounty unfold.
All right, so last year, these things were probably, I would say about half this height. And this year, they're almost 6 feet tall. Last year, they're up to my waist, and they're almost up to the top of my head. So it's crazy how tall these things got. That one's definitely about 6 feet tall. So I've never seen my lilies get this big. And so the trick is mulch. As you can see down here, I have probably about 6 inches of mulch. And then another trick is just to leave them in the ground. So what I do at the end of the season is I detach the stem. So I'll grab the stem and pull it up. And along the length of the stem, there'll be some mini bulbs. And what I mean by mini bulbs, let me see if I find any over here. Yeah. So over here, I put some of the smaller bulbs in the ground. And so the ones that grow along the stem, they'll be about like 1/10 the size. Just a little bulb, probably about the size of a large shooter marble, like maybe like the diameter of a quarter sized. Whereas when they get this big, if I take those out, they'll be like the size of a softball. Like they'll be like bigger than my fist. And those ones are the ones that make the big, giant, long lilies. When you go and buy these from the store, you're not going to be able to buy the giant ones. They'll sell them probably about twice as big as the side ones that I get. So I'm guessing they probably harvest them and grow them for a year and then sell them in the stores. But you kind of have to do it yourself. And honestly, I have some friends that have commented on these and they've had lilies for 30 years and theirs have never gotten this big. So I think the trick is just mulch. Just having a layer of mulch constantly decomposing is just making sure that the plants have as much nutrients as they want. Basically so that phosphorus and nitrogen and potassium, the major macronutrients for plants, none of those are your like limiting reagent. In other words, you have more than enough of those, and so it's not going to run out of those. The only thing it can run out of are, sunlight or water. And the plant can only metabolize water and sunlight so fast. Like you can't just like take a magnifying glass and shine extra sunlight on plants because they'll just burn because they get too hot. So that's your main idea. Your main trick is just to make sure that the soil is always covered. Another trick that I have is I use clay soil. Not that I got to choose it. So my soil is just clay, and clay holds a lot of nutrients. So covering clay with mulch gives you the best soil that humans can imagine. This one's the most striking, I think. Like it almost looks fake. Like I came out here earlier and it was hard to believe that this is fake. It looks like the cloth flowers, the cloth, artificial flowers. Really pretty though. That one's not nearly as tall as the orange ones though. So I'm kind of curious if this red one will keep getting taller. All right, so in summary, you want to make sure you have mulch. You want to make sure you're getting a nice location. So this is the south side of my house. South side of my house means I'm maximizing sunlight. Something else that's very beneficial right here is I have a rain gutter that when it rains really hard, the water can't get down my rain gutter fast enough up here and it spills over the wrong side. And so this part of my garden will get extra water as well. I don't know if that's also contributing to how tall they are, because I have other ones that aren't as tall as those in other parts of my yard. But like I said, I've been spreading the bulbs out, planting them everywhere. All right, here's more. These are on the west side of my house. And these ones are about 5.5 feet tall. And then down here I have more of the mini ones. Those are because those are side bulbs like I was talking about. And over here, a couple big ones. And then smaller ones. And you can tell which ones are new because they're much smaller. And all my little bulbs I put over here. So all these little tiny baby lily plants, they kind of do that the first year. And they might get one flower, maybe two. Like this one right here, for example, has 2 little tiny flowers. And that's what will happen the first year. You'll get 1 or 2 little tiny flowers. The main thing you'll want though is to leave that green growth so they can gather energy to make that bulb bigger. And then, the following year, let me just kind of give you a comparison. So this is year 1, this is year 2. So that's about up to my waist. I guess that's probably 3 feet tall or something. And that's another second year, another second year, another second year. And then these are third year. And those are almost up to my shoulders, I guess. But these are also second year, maybe third year. And they're a little taller. So again, I'm not completely sure. And it could also be this is the west side of my house, because like I said, on the south side of my house are the ones that are 6 feet tall. So it might just be sunlight, because I have roughly the same soil, the same amount of mulch. I think the big thing is the fact that there's just a little bit more sun on the south side. So if you want to maximize the size of your lilies, south side of your yard, lots of mulch, lots of water, sunlight, and you'll have big, beautiful lilies.
Ooh, I got a really good one.
These are huge. And this is a hybrid that I love. That's a hybrid between the orange and the red. It makes this really cool looking sunburst. It almost looks fake. But this is my favorite color combination.